All right, everyone, welcome in. We have a lot to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get started. We have an accidental gunshot, which leads to an arrest, a deadly crash in Mobile, and where the past weekend's severe weather had the worst impacts on our portion of the Gulf Coast. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this episode of News 5 Now.
Brought to you by Green and Phillips, covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. News 5 Now starts right now.
All right, everyone, welcome in again. I'm Asher Red here with WKRG. So we do this every day. We want to give you the top stories of the day, kind of the quick, look at your phone, see this in like 5 minutes, get the headlines, things that matter the most. Of course, we have a question of the day coming up and the poll of the day, those results as well. So let's go ahead and start with those big stories that I was just talking about. We'll do this countdown from 5. Ready? Number 5. A Saraland man is in jail after Mobile police say he accidentally fired a gun during an altercation this weekend. 26-year-old Cody Robertson, which you see on your screen now, was arrested after a shots fired report was made at the Knollwood Apartments. On the scene, police say they discovered Robertson, who had been in an altercation with a female, and unintentionally fired a shot that hit the ground while leaving the area. No injuries were reported, thankfully. Now, Robertson faces charges like third-degree domestic violence and possession of a controlled substance. Moving along to number 4, in case you missed it, cat adoptions are halted until January the 2nd at the Santa Rosa County Animal Shelter. The temporary closure was initially put in place on December the 19th through December the 27th, but shelter officials extended it due to an illness. Dog adoptions are still available at the shelter, and off-site adoption events will continue. Moving along to number 3. Loxley police are investigating a Sunday night brawl at a gas station. Police say a fight broke out between two groups at the Circle K and Exxon gas station off Hickory Street just before 6 p.m. More than 5 people were involved in a fight, and one individual pulled out a pipe and hit another person in the head with it. That person was life-flighted to a local hospital, and their condition as of right now is still unknown. Number 2, a Florida woman was killed in Mobile Sunday night after she was standing in a roadway and was struck by a vehicle. The 49-year-old Cynthia Lee of Ocoee was critically injured when she was hit at around 5:30 p.m. near the 3-Notch Croner Road and Hillcrest Road intersection. Alabama law enforcement agency officials say she was hit by a 2021 Ford F-250 driven by a Mobile man. Lee was taken to a USA Providence hospital in Mobile where she died of her injuries. Aaliyah's Highway Patrol Division is investigating. And finally, number 1, Grove Hill Mayor Ross Wood says local fire rescue and police received about 40 different calls regarding fallen trees, power lines, and debris following this weekend's severe weather. City officials say the downtown area was hit the hardest, and it was the only significantly impacted area in Clark County. Several buildings around the courthouse square, including a bank and the Clark County Extension Office and a law office, were damaged. Now, I will say we were reporting on that damage extensively. I went down to the Dawes community, the Southern Oaks neighborhood around that area off of Dawes Road, and some of the damage there was insane too. We had, I believe, 2 overturned sheds that were flipped over by the winds. There were also down trees on houses, trees on power lines. We watched it all as crews were already out there. I mean, Mobile County crews were there immediately after the storm passed, getting everything taken care of. So it's always good to see that sense of urgency. So we want to go ahead and move over to our question of the day. We want to know, what are your plans for New Year's Eve? So this is what all of you are saying. Let's go ahead and look through here. Okay. By the way, New Year's Eve, I don't understand the whole go out. It's just another day on the calendar, right? All right. Someone says staying inside. All right. Hitting off with a good start. Going to the casinos in Mississippi. Have done that for the past 4 or 5 years. They have a great buffet, and it's free. It's not free if you're losing money gambling. I don't know. You might not be losing money. You might be really good at it. I don't know. But I'm curious to see what the replies are. But I also don't want to open up any replies we haven't censored out yet. Let's see. Sleep through it as usual is what Nettie is saying. Pete Herring is saying falling asleep at 10 o'clock and missed the moon, the moon pie. I think they meant to say moon pie ball drop like last year. All right, sleep. Staying away from the drunkards. That is a good thing. Stay away from anyone who is drinking too much. And especially if you're going to be drinking, please call an Uber to get home. Please don't wreak havoc on our roads. That's just not cool. All right, someone's going to be in Washington, D.C. That's Angel Nelson. Let's see. Fireworks at the wharf. Now that sounds awesome. I need to get back into watching fireworks. I used to go when I was a kid. I'll scroll this back up. When I was a kid, we used to We used to have a 4th of July fireworks display. I lived across the street from an airport, and they would have an air show followed by 4th of July fireworks. They never did anything for New Year's Eve. In fact, I didn't even know that New Year's was known for fireworks as well until I moved to Tuscaloosa for college, and there were a few people shooting fireworks there. When I was a kid, our New Year's Eve tradition was to get sparkling grape juice because, as a kid, you can't be drinking alcohol. Can't have wine or anything like that as a kid. So we got sparkling grape juice, and that is still what I do to this day. And, yeah, I love it. I actually had a memory pop up on my photo album back at home of, me with sparkling grape juice or whatnot, literally just like a few years ago when I was in college. It was great. All right, so with that being said, our poll of the day is kind of the same thing. We want to know, do you plan to go out for New Year's Eve or do you want to stay in for New Year's Eve? And this is what you're saying. 84% of you are saying staying inside. 16% of you are going to go out. I will say, if I'm being honest with you, the 84% of the people who want to stay inside are that's where I stand. I don't really want to go out. I was actually just talking to some people in the newsroom about this. I am a pretty introverted person, which is weird because I chose a job where I'm constantly everywhere. TV, on the websites, on social media. But in reality, you'd be surprised. A lot of the people in news are pretty introverted people. And I would take, not just New Year's Eve, any night staying at home and just watching TV, hanging out with the dogs, hanging out, like any of that, I would take that over going out any day. Having some friends come over, perfect night. So yeah, with that being said, here's what we want you to go ahead and do next. Go over to Facebook, like the WKRG Facebook page, answer our next question of the day. We want to know, what store do you wish would come to the Gulf Coast? I haven't read that question until just now, so I don't have enough time to think about that. But that's a good one. And to go ahead and vote in our next Facebook poll, we wanted to know, have you made your New Year's resolution? I know down here with Lent being Mardi Gras and, Lent being a big thing down here, how that stacks up. If you have a New Year's resolution, if you take Lent more seriously than you take the New Year's resolution, or if you take them both seriously, kill two birds with one stone in a way. That's always interesting. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing those responses and reading your comments tomorrow. I will be thinking about what store I would want on the Gulf Coast. I mean, I grew up in a super small town in Tennessee that had nothing. So you guys here on the Gulf Coast, we have a lot more than I had growing up in Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee. That's where there's more cattle than there are people, kind of Tennessee. So with that being said, go ahead, turn on your TV. We've got WKRG coming on in 17 minutes. 17 minutes. We have our 6 o'clock show coming on. Right now, CBS is doing its thing, and we will have Roseanne, and I believe Cherish is here. Simone Eli is here. Grant, I believe, is doing our weather right now. So you'll get to see all of those people. So without further ado, everyone, have a safe New Year's Eve. Have a safe New Year's. Be careful. Have a good one.
Covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. You are watching News 5 Now, brought to you by Green & Phillips.